Mami's home and she is hangry. On this week's episode, we cover Rhea Ripley's challenge to Liv Morgan for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship, plus everything that's happened on this week's Smackdown and Raw. I'm your host, Kenan, and welcome to Bitchin' About Wrestling. Yeah.
Acknowledge me!
Hello and welcome back, or maybe to the first time, to Bitchin' About Wrestling. I'm your host, Kenan, and thank you for joining us as we, the Wisemen, talk about everything WWE. Joining me from the team today, we have Alex. How you doing, bro?
I'm all right. My voice might be a little bit raspy though, because I've been working all day, and apparently I'm a bit of a screamer.
Yes, very nice. I've actually got a sore throat as well, and that was going to be my joke. Thank you very much.
I don't even have a sore throat. I that line
had it ready, just ready
me.
to go. Well, yeah, look, I think that's where we're going to start. We're going to start with the big story, and it is still
the best only story
on Monday Night Raw, and we have MAMI'S home. Okay, so Rhea Ripley opened the show of Monday Night Raw this week, and she came out to the ring saying MAMI'S home. It's been 3 months since she's been back in the ring, and it's all because of one person, Liv Morgan. She says she's been seeing her running around with something of hers, and it's not Dominic Mysterio, because she'll handle him later, but she's been walking around with something that she never lost, and that's the Women's World Championship. And it was nice to see her back on Raw, absolutely, and nice to see her back on the mic. I think you forget how good she is on the mic sometimes. And but then obviously Dominic came out, and he's pleading with Mami just to hear him out and apologize. But he and her were so rudely interrupted by Liv Morgan. And as she said, she just wanted to first of all apologize about her voice. It was a very long week in Mexico, and as she's always been known to be quite the screamer. Hi, Daddy Dom. So, absolutely, that freaking slayed me. Absolutely slayed me. But she basically, Liv Morgan went on to say that she didn't really know what Rhea saw in Dom. She was very confused about it all, and she just wanted to hurt him. But the more she spent time with him, got to look into those gorgeous eyes, she got to kiss him, and it all just became very, very real to her. And it's better than whatever they had. And since she's been gone, she's had him all to herself. So she's not happy that Mami is back. But Liv is finally on top. What did you think of this segment, Alex?
As I have been saying for the last few weeks, this is my favorite thing in WWE at the moment. I just think it is being played by all parties, and bearing in mind there are a lot of people playing in this story. Yes. And it is just brilliant. And then obviously there's a lot of harking back going in this, because there is such a great, and bear in mind this is back to when I was watching, back in the late 90s, early noughties, with Eddie Guerrero and Mamacita China and the Black Rose, and it's very harking back to that, which I absolutely love, because that was also a brilliant storyline. But this added element of having Liv Morgan in it, who is just tweaking everything perfectly and just being the best, and almost to a point where I'm rooting for.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And Dom's becoming more and more like his real father, Eddie Guerrero. You know, the mullet's there, the tash is there. He is becoming that. And so all his actions absolutely mirroring what Eddie did back in the day, like you say, with China. And yeah, I'm all here for it. But obviously Rhea wasn't really happy, and she wants her championship back, and she's challenged Liv Morgan for the Women's World Championship at SummerSlam. And to be fair, Liv didn't shy away from it. She said she knew this is where it was going to end up. This is where the end game would be, and she accepts the challenge. So how do you think that's going to play out? Because I think Liv has to win that match, and it should be the involvement of Dom, which costs Rhea that championship, right?
Right. I need people to go back about 3 weeks, because I said this. I said what I said was, what's going to happen is he's going to be crawling to Mami, and he's going to be wanting Mami, and I mean, by the end of the show today, it looked like he'd won her approval back.
Yes.
And what is going to happen is it's going to get to a point where Rhea is very, very close to winning that title, and he is going to cost Rhea the title. He'll put a referee out, or he'll do something ridiculous, and it will then be Liv and Dom, and then maybe a little bit of Liv going, "I didn't want you. I just wanted to break you two up, and I wanted to cost Rhea." And I think that is such a brilliant way to play the story. But this is the great thing with a story like this. There's so many angles. I think that's the best one to do. Yes. But they could swerve it and go in any direction.
Yeah. Would you have Dom sort of like accidentally cost Rhea the title, or would it be a case of she has been like berating him for the next couple of weeks, not forgiving him, and he's finally like, you know what? If you don't want me, somebody else does.
No, I think she'll forgive him. And then I think she's close to forgiving him already.
Yeah.
And then he will still turn on her.
Oh, you see.
Because I mean, the guy's got the most heat in WWE at the moment anyway. To get even more heat on him, to have him turn on Mami, who is now, I mean, this is the hilarious thing. We have the biggest heel faction. The two main members of the biggest heel factions are now definitely baby faces.
Yeah, absolutely they are. It's a crazy time in WWE for sure. Let's talk about the Judgment Day and everything else that's happened with them on Monday Night Raw, so we can kind of go through that story. So obviously Dominic, like I say, came out with Black Rose. Rhea refused it, and she's slapping it out of his hand as they go to the backstage. And we come back from the break, and it goes to the backstage area, and we're in the Judgment Day clubhouse. She sees multiple bouquets of black flowers, and Dominic's tried to make it up to his mamacita, and she slams the door in Dominic's face. Dominic turns around. Damian Priest is there. He's laughing. He's just loving this. And he says, you know, things are a little bit complicated, and, you know, we'll have to see what happens. Rhea opens the door, flings the flowers in his face, and shuts the door again. It's so soap opera. I love it.
The thing is Dom hasn't done anything wrong.
I agree. Except he didn't call her apparently for the last 3 months. So there is that.
I mean, she went and got married.
She was on her honeymoon. Yeah.
I thought about this today, and I might be wrong. I don't remember seeing any like videos and stuff of her doing rehab. Do you think they faked her injury so she could go and get married?
Well, that's what I thought it was, but no, she actually did get injured, and then they decided to get married while she was injured. So we didn't see any rehab, but apparently she's not actually medically cleared yet. And so they expect her to be sort of like match ready in a couple of weeks. So we don't expect her to be physical necessarily much in the next couple of weeks, right up until SummerSlam. So yeah, apparently it was a real injury, but they just timed it very, very well.
Okay, fair enough. No, I was just thinking today. I was thinking that would have been a really good way, and that would have been a very not Vince Triple H thing to do.
Yes.
But I'm wondering what her injury was, because I mean, Seth had surgery on his knee and was out less time than Rhea was.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a shoulder. I think it was. I think it was shoulder. I don't know if she had surgery or whether it was rehab or whatever it was, but it might have just been keyhole. But yeah, I didn't
shoulders are a bitch.
Yeah, I didn't see any scars. And we saw plenty of her. Anyway, let's go back. So we're back inside the Judgment Day's clubhouse. Damian Priest, you know, he's welcoming Rhea back, and he's really pleased to see her. She expresses her gratitude for Damian, like keeping things under control while she's been away. And obviously she's not best pleased that Liv has been involved in the tag championships, but they're there. It is what it is. But Damian's talking about Gunther. You know, he's going out there to have a face-to-face with him. But he's also got to take care of business with Braun Strowman, because we know that the rest of the Judgment Day haven't been able to tackle him over the last few weeks. Rhea mentions Carlitos, like why he's hanging out in the clubhouse. And again, Priest goes to like talk about it, but then they're interrupted again, and it's just like he just keeps staying there and just not being challenged anymore. So Dom comes back in, he goes back to Mummy. He's like, he knows he's messed up, and he's been trying to reach out to her the entire week, but she's like, well, where are you the last 3 months? You've been too busy playing around with your new girlfriend. And Dominic's asking Priest, you know, why didn't he give him the heads up about Rhea? And he was trying to warn Dominic, but you know, again, he was too busy with Liv. And he suggests that, you know, it's about the miscommunication, and you know, he was lying about ending things with Liv. And then we had Jey Uso jump in.
So
And make his intents known for
Yeet.
the single Rhea. And that was a great segment.
have you?
Go on.
Sorry, go on. No, I just realised you sent it. The post.
The post
show video is just. I'm worried about Jey. I'm worried about Jey though. It did sound like he was on something like a bit like when him and Cody had a few libations after
winning the tag championships,
after winning the tag team titles. But he wants to take on a Waffle House.
It was he's like, it's cheap, but the food's good. It's like, the food is good.
And then invited Kayla with.
Yeah.
No, not Kayla. That's not Kayla Braxton. That's
she's left now, isn't she?
Because Kayla's gone.
She has gone.
We like Kayla. What was that one's name? I know Kathy Kelly because she's my favourite.
I can't think. What is her name? I can't even think what her name is now. It escapes me. And so he suggests to Damian Priest suggests to Dom that he should not let Jey talk about his woman like that. And he should take care of business. And make it known that she is his. Yes.
This dividing property, definitely stirring the pot.
And I like it. He said, when Jey says to Dom, he's like, when you see Rhea, tell her hi. And he's like, yeet. Just so good.
Damian is now a full-on agent of chaos. And I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. I think he has done this whole massive role shift from this miserable, not boring, but just from no sort of real personality showing through, just being melancholy to now this kind of fun guy who is enjoying being champ. I think he's now more comfortable in his own skin. Mm-hmm. I think having, despite what happened at Money in the Bank, he's had some good matches. I think he's coming across as a good champion. Even though he kind of is a transitional champion, he's coming across really well. And I think he's really, and I think I said this last week, he's really setting himself up to continue to be in the title picture when he loses it at SummerSlam.
Yeah. No, absolutely. You're right there. You're right. So Dominic, he goes to get the match with Jey official for Madam Pierce, and he goes backstage to let Rhea know what's happening, and that he's having a match with Jey, and he needs to show him and the world that she is his. And the reaction from the Judgment Day was just priceless. They were just looking at him like, dude, you just keep digging. You just keep digging.
We didn't Carlito go, dude?
Yeah,
not cool.
It's not cool. Yeah. He only has about 2 lines per episode, but that's all he needs.
He's Groot. He's Groot. I am Groot.
He is. Is he the cool or not cool? That's it. That's what he does.
I am Groot. Not Groot.
So then we moved on to the match. We had Jey Uso versus Dominic Mysterio, and Mysterio attacks Jey before the bell rings, and he's on the forefront for a lot of the match. But as we move to the end of the match, which was fairly good, to be honest, I thought Dominic looked quite good in this match, to be fair. He did the 3
He's definitely getting better.
He is, and I like the fact that he's wrestling 2 or 3 weeks on a trot now. And Jey nails Mysterio with the running hip attack, and Jey puts Mysterio into the corner. He's going to do the frog splash. In comes the hero, Liv Morgan. She pulls Mysterio out of the ring. And, Dom's like, I don't need you. You need to leave me alone. Jey, baseball slide, drop kicks in the back of Mysterio, right on top of Liv. And it doesn't stay like that because she switches it quick. she absolutely rolls Dom. And as she said, Liv is on top. And again, bringing him in close. Things are about to happen. Rhea's music hits. She makes her way down. And Liv, just the way she looks up and is like, oh shit. and even the commentators mentioned is like, you don't need to be a great lip reader to know what she said there. And she pegs it out of the ring right up the steps of the arena, and Rhea is not particularly happy, and she sends to Dom, get back into the ring and finish it. Jey hits the spear and picks up the win. And did you see the little look between Rhea and Jey in the ring as well.
He
So Rhea's
he
looking
didn't
back.
call me.
Yeah, he did. He did
Call me.
and she had a little smile, and I don't know if that was like part of the character or whether she broke character then. But yeah, she smiled as she was walking back. But like you say, it kind of ended on a high. Dominic came around the back, and he's injured for the match, and Rhea comes back with a rose, and she gives it to him, and just says, I'm not yours, but you're mine. And like you say, a hint of forgiveness there. So yeah.
That whole thing was they've just got this story nailed, because it's really easy to make a story like this really cheesy and a bit crap, but they've found the level,
yes,
and they have hit it perfectly, and they are not straying from it. It's almost like they're just really good with long-term storytelling, and they have a plan.
Yes. Yeah. Well, apparently the plan changed quite recently. So they were planning on Rhea Ripley returning either at SummerSlam or on the Monday night after SummerSlam originally. But Rhea's like, no, I'm able to wrestle just a couple of weeks ago. So I think that's why they were leaning into the Selena Vega stuff to start with. And potentially that might have been the match at SummerSlam. And who, again, we'll come on to, she's doing really well at the moment in her character work. But yeah, so Rhea came back and she said, no, I can do this. And so they brought her in early. So,
by the way, just something to hark back to when we talk about don't have to be a good lip reader. Have you seen the videos from last week's Raw where during the Bron Breakker match, Pat McAfee called him a brick shithouse, and you've got the reaction. Hit the microphone, and you've got the reaction video of Michael Cole. It's just like, oh my god, I wouldn't have quite put it like that. It's 9:25. It's fine.
Yeah, that's it. It's fine. Exactly. You know what? Their commentary just seems so brilliant. Easy, and you can really tell that Michael Cole's just really enjoying himself. And he loves having Pat next to him. He genuinely looks like he really entertains him. He really genuinely finds him funny, and they've got great chemistry. It's really, really good to see.
It's so good. It makes me so happy. And I can't remember what it was, but there was another moment today where the camera was on them, and Pat said something, and Michael just went, just cracked, because Pat literally just says he's like a non-creepy Jerry Lawler.
Yeah, he just that's right. Says whatever comes to his mind. He just
says what he thinks. Because the thing is, yes, Jerry Lawler was a creep, but you go back and listen to some of that commentary, and some of that man's one-liners were brilliant.
Yes,
just the stuff. And I'm talking about not the creepy stuff.
Yes, not the creepy stuff. Yeah.
Because you go back and listen to some of that now, and it's like, what are you doing on television?
Yeah, cancelled a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, but yeah, it's just so nice to have commentators who have freedom, and when they're free, everything works a little bit better, and it's a lot less robotic and doesn't just sound like the WWE game.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Right, let's go back to the end of last week, and we're going to talk about WWE Smackdown. So the show opened with a segment with Tiffany Stratton, Bayley, and Nia Jax. And, Tiffany's coming out. She's very proud of herself for winning Money in the Bank, so she should be. She commented that she's the youngest Miss Money in the Bank ever. And, Bayley's obviously confronting her, saying, you got to be careful, you're not going to be that easy to cash in on me, and you're probably going to be the first woman to unsuccessfully cash in your Money in the Bank. But Nia Jax comes out because, Tiffany Stratton and her, they're best buds at the moment, and reminds Bayley that they have a match at SummerSlam in a few weeks. And Bayley cut a quite decent promo here. She said, this isn't the NXT hugger, Bayley. This isn't 2017 Bayley, who Nia Jax kind of injured for several months. And she's like, what are you proud of, you idiot? She kind of, with the kayfabe thing was happening there again, she kind of cut into her. But she said, she's a Grand Slam Women's Champion. She's a Royal Rumble winner. She's the current WWE Women's Champion. It's not the same Bayley, and she's going to embarrass Nia Jax at SummerSlam. And I don't know if this was scripted, but then Nia Jax said, what are you now, the BBL Bayley? And the crowd got a reaction there. If you don't know what BBL means, anybody watching or listening, it's a Brazilian butt lift. So she was very much accusing her because of the images we've seen across social media over the last, kind of months about the rear of Bayley. And,
right, okay.
So yeah, it was very much a case of is that natural? She did come back on social media and say yes, it's all natural. So there you go.
Right. Okay. Now I'm understanding. Okay. Yeah. Because that went totally over my head. And
yes,
then
Brazilian butt lift.
I was watching. It must have been ups and downs. I was watching, and he mentioned something about that, and I was just like, I don't understand. The joke totally went past my head, and I haven't seen any of that social media, so that was unfortunately lost on me. But now I understand.
No, that's what we're here to do. We're here to educate.
Yeah,
Jax and Stratton, they ganged up on Bailey, started beating her down. Michin comes in, attacks Jax with a kendo stick to close the segment out. So what do you think of the opening of the show? You know, it's fairly strong from the three.
It was great to have Bailey back in the ring, doing a good promo, because Bailey is a great promo, and I've said this multiple times, and they need to use her more often. Tiffany held her own, which was brilliant as well, and she is. It's why she's better for winning the title, the briefcase over Chelsea, because she comes across as a threat, which obviously, I mean. I think Chelsea could be booked as a threat, but she's not booked as a threat.
But she's not wrestling that way, no.
But yeah, so she's not booked that way. But Tiffy is booked as a threat, but she's also that pain in the arse, annoying heel who will just annoy the hell out of us for however long it takes her to cash that thing in. Because the way, in my eyes, the way this story goes is Bailey loses at SummerSlam, and it is a constant tease of talking about teases. Tiffany, after they'd beaten up Bailey, Tiffany looked at Bailey on the ground with the briefcase, kind of looked towards the referee.
That's it. Yeah,
and Nia just went, no. You come back here, my little toy, my little Barbie, as she called her.
Yeah, private little toy. That's it. Yeah, so Nia Jackson had a match with Michin, and chaos ensued. Nia Jax got the pinfall, but again, Bailey was taken out, and like you say, Strand really teased that cash in, and.
What it's going to be is it's going to be a face turn when she eventually cashes that to briefcase in however many months' time on Nia Jax. It's going to be her face turn. The universe wants to cheer her.
Yes, they do.
Which is obvious because she gets such a great response. But they can't just instantly flip it. So to tease it and to her to get like almost bullied by Nia over their time together and planning other things for her to then cash in on Nia and win it off of Nia will just be the biggest face turn. I mean, what are the pay? Because they're bringing back Bad Blood, aren't they?
They are. Yes,
pay-per-view, which is very cool. I swear, Triple H just wants to relive his time in WWE, doesn't he?
So what did I like? Let's do this. Yeah, absolutely. And why not?
Do something like Bad Blood, and you can have like a first blood match and things like that, which are things that we haven't seen in many, many years. But so I like this story, and again, it's one of those stories that's just starting to bubble.
Yeah,
nothing going on yet.
How do you feel Michin fits into this?
Fodder.
Yeah. Maybe a tag match next week. Probably.
Yeah, it's someone so Bailey's not on her own, but I guess Bailey's also got Naomi.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But they've just kind of set up her own feud now, haven't they? So we'll come on to that.
But again, Michin is another very talented wrestler, who they just don't do anything with. I guess I do think there are a few people on the roster, and maybe that's a list to go through for one of our midweek lists. If anyone can stop going into hospital, going on holiday, having children, we actually might get some more people on the panel, and we can do more
content,
or doesn't have to watch Raw with his kids, and we can do a midweek list, and maybe one of the lists could be who's not being utilized that is good enough to be utilized.
Yeah, top 10 underrated wrestlers at the moment. Yeah, good shout. So then we had a backstage segment. Byron Saxton had an interview with Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Chelsea's leaning into their character with the neck brace, wanting to speak.
Waiting outside, what's his face is at office.
Yeah, Nick Aldis, isn't it?
Yeah.
Aldis, yeah. And she wants some retribution for the way she was handled at Money in the Bank, and that continued for several segments.
The thing is once they were waiting there, Pretty Deadly turned up.
That's
and
it.
went to go straight there. No, there is a queue.
Queue.
You get behind
Come
me
on.
in the queue. I'm like, it's just brilliant. And for the rest of the show, the four of them just stood outside
The
Nick's
whole
office.
time. Yeah, it's so good.
Brilliant. It's just, and they
It's
kept
so
doing interviews in front of them. You just saw stuff going on, and it was just they just pay stuff off, and it's just
It's the
such a
continuity.
pleasure.
Exactly that. It's the continuity throughout the show, even as well. Like you say, they're not storylines necessarily going anywhere, but just to have those characters in the background doing as and what they said they were going to do, it's just great. So then we had a Solo Sikoa promo. He spoke about how the Bloodline had all the titles, the heavyweight and the tag team titles, and it would be all the same if Roman Reigns never went soft. So it takes a new tribal chief to stay at the top of their game, and that's why they're here. They're going to build a new family, a more powerful family, and bring honor back to the family. And this family will rule for decades as long as I'm the tribal chief. And at the end of the night, everyone will acknowledge me. We also then had a segment with Andrade and Carmelo Hayes. So this was kind of pre-recorded in the arena. And who was
Andrade was having an interview.
Yeah, who was interviewing him?
Not Caleb Braxton.
Was it Byron? I think it was Byron. He was interviewing and he's like, what's next for Andrade? You know, and he's like, the vision is the same. WWE is my destiny. That's why I'm here. Come on, you know, and he was talking about how he was the MVP. Carmelo came in, disagreed. And so Andrade's like, you know what? You're going to be next. So I think they could put on a really good match. Those two.
They're going to put on a really amazing match. It's going to be that's a really nice little mid-card feud to have between two outstanding performers. The problem is who wins, because Carmelo is new up from NXT. Andrade's come back. I mean, maybe they do a best of three or
I'd like to
whatever.
see that. And I'd like to see more of these feuds that don't, center around a title. Just feuds for, the next step in their careers, to be able to progress and move up the ladder, to be able to be in that number one contender spot. So, yeah, I think a best of three would be really good for those. I don't know who I'd put over. I'd probably, at this point, it'd probably have to be Carmelo, I would have thought.
I think
because of Andrade's experience and age, maybe it's his time.
If I was booking it, I'd do a best of three different match types as well.
Yes.
So I wouldn't just do the same match type, maybe ending in a cage match. Or do we have a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view this year?
Have
they binned off the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view?
I don't think we've had a Hell in a Cell payper-view, have we? No, I think it's more of a match type rather than a pay-per-view.
Good. I hope it's got. We used to have the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view.
We used to, yeah. So
I don't know if it's been bidden or something, but yeah. So it'd be really cool to have them finish in a massive match. And the good thing about it would be if they do a best of three, they don't actually have to decide, because what you do is you gauge the response.
Yes, absolutely.
And you put over whoever gets the best response from the crowd, which I agree with you. It will probably end up being Carmelo.
Yeah.
Just because I think he's a more likable character, not as in like him, but as in can get behind that arrogant dickhead heel.
Yeah. And I think Andrade could probably afford the loss more than Carmelo could in the grand scheme of things, because I think
he hasn't done much winning Carmelo.
No, he hasn't.
He won one match in King of the Ring.
Yeah, the qualification match for the Money in the Bank,
which he didn't win clean.
It. No, he didn't. So,
and he hasn't won another match because he lost his first night on Raw to on SmackDown to Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
He obviously then lost his second match to Randy.
Yeah. Yeah. So
did he lose to Randy?
He's due a win. I think
so. Yeah, I don't think he's actually had a win. Tell us in the comments if
I think his first win was like the Money in the Bank qualification match, or like maybe one of the King of the Rings. But no, I don't think that's it. So yeah, I think he's due, and I wouldn't be surprised then if he went on to challenge for the US title. Who we presume will know who that is as we move into SummerSlam. I'd be very surprised. Yeah. Then what do we have? So we had a match. We had Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews versus Legado del Fantasma, and this was a really good match. I thought Apollo and Baron did really well together.
Really well,
yeah.
Because you've got Apollo, who is, for a man that size, is so incredibly athletic. He reminds me of Sheldon Benjamin.
Yeah,
from an athletic point of view. And then you got Baron, who's just a big old bruiser. Didn't he go over the top rope too?
Yeah,
Did he do a dive?
launched
I've
him.
never
Yeah.
seen.
No,
never
Apollo
seen him do
launched
that.
him over the top rope onto them. That was insane. Yeah, it was brilliant.
Because I've always liked Baron Corbin. I think he's
Mhm.
been given shit gimmicks
Yes.
and terrible storylines,
Mhm.
and then he was blamed for the whole downfall of Raw when he was GM. He was playing a character, and I think he played the character really well. I think everything he has done it well. Doesn't matter how, but they've given him shit. You know, they had him pouring dog food over Roman Reigns.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, come on. The man
Well,
is
he was the big dog. So
but it's so
it's so
anyway,
Vince.
but the man is so talented.
He is.
And he's such a good. I don't know. I think I swear. Once we start getting comments and people actually start watching the show more, people will say I'd say that everybody is super talented because I really think they all are. There isn't many who I think are crap, but
it's true.
but it's why they're in
That's
WWE.
why they're doing what they're doing. Exactly that.
You know, and
so yes, there's a really good match. The referee gets distracted by Lopez, and Escobar comes in. He clocks Cruz with the pump knee strike, and Garza connects with the wing clipper. And
I love that move.
Yeah, it's a really nice move actually. And so yeah, Phantasma pick up the pinfall. So yeah, really good match. Very entertaining.
What I like about Legado del Fantasma, they don't lose a lot.
No, they don't.
They because of who that tag team is, they could lose and it wouldn't mean anything. And okay, pretty much every single one of their wins is screwy. It doesn't matter. And I think they play it, really well. And I like that they don't lose because they always come across the threat. And again, those two are just fantastic in the ring. You know, they're proper luchadors, and I think they're always a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, agreed. We had Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton in a backstage segment. Randy, says he heard what Solo Sikoa said, and he knew that Cody will end up in the ring tonight talking to them, but he's always got his back no matter what. He said Kevin Owens does as well, but he wasn't there tonight because of the family issues. But he did say everything comes to an end. And when this business with the bloodline is over, Cody's gonna have a lot of men coming after that WWE Championship. And at the end of the day, Randy said he'll still have Cody's back. What do you reckon about that?
He's waiting to stab him in it.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen for a while. We've got to go through all this bloodline stuff. But having said that, I still think Cody's going to lose to Solo.
And I think he should. Yeah,
I really think he should.
Big mistake if they don't.
They've got to pull the trigger on it. However, there's a little bit of John Cena vibe with Cody, which is the kids and all that kind of stuff, which I get from a company and a marketing point of view. And I'm willing to bet there is discussions and arguments between Triple H wanting to do the right story, and the people looking at figures and numbers going, we seem to do really good numbers when Cody Rhodes is on telly with the title.
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be tough, and there's a lot of stories that they're going to have to navigate towards WrestleMania next year, because obviously you've got the bloodline, you've got Roman returning, you've got The Rock returning, you're going to have John Cena. Yeah, John Cena last WrestleMania. He needs that 17th championship title. There's a lot of moving parts with this. So,
which title do you think they'd put on Cena?
I think it needs to be WWE. I think it needs to be the Smackdown title rather than the World Heavyweight.
God, so where does he fit into that though?
I think it'll be after WrestleMania. I think it'll be between WrestleMania and then December next year. I think
like a cool down when someone else give the title to somebody else and have a cool down, because I don't see Cena squaring up against Cody and beating Cody. He's not going to be.
He's probably going to be The Rock and Cody. That's what I see it as. And I'd rather, the way I'd probably see it is Roman versus Solo for the title, in a sense, to put it back onto Roman at that point, and Cody versus The Rock for a non-title, because I don't actually want the title to be involved between Cody and The Rock.
No,
but I wouldn't be surprised if it is.
Because can The Rock beat Cody at Mania?
No, he's got.
Does The Rock have to lose?
The storytelling says he should. but it depends on how much more he's going to be involved and whether they're going to drag that story out even longer. Because Cody's had his moment now, you know, he's had a WrestleMania where he failed, he's had it where he's won, so it could go either way this time.
Isn't this great? When we were on the road to WrestleMania, we knew Cody was winning.
Yes,
there was no surprise. It was a surprise the way it happened, and it was still they actually pulled the trigger and blah blah. Yeah. But we knew Cody was winning.
Yeah.
I have no idea what to expect at the moment.
No.
And how awesome is that?
It's great. Absolutely. That's where we want to be. We don't want to know everything all the time. You know, there are some storylines where it's coming to a point where we're like, yeah, okay, I can see that. But yeah, at the moment, we don't know where it's headed. And that's great. That is really great.
And that's the thing. And the thing is I don't know what I want.
Yeah.
I don't know what I want.
Part of me is like, Cena, win the Royal Rumble, go to WrestleMania, get your championship. It's your last WrestleMania. Why the hell not?
Because it's the good storyline, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That's to give everybody their cake storyline, which is...
Yeah, and then he can lose it on Monday Night Raw. Like, Brock Lesnar will come back on Monday Night Raw and just take it from him.
You know is Brock coming back? Is he cleared of all his... Is he cleared of all his rubbish?
He hasn't been... I don't think he's been directly involved in any of the litigation, because I think obviously it's directed by this other individual, and so I don't know how much he was aware of it and how much. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, a lot of the conversation text we've seen between you know, Vince and this this female employee, I don't know how much Brock was aware of what was happening. You know, so we don't know. So I think they're playing it coy. He's still listed with them. He's still contracted underneath them. They haven't released him. Like, he's been pushed out.
He's not on the WWE 224K game, which I was very disappointed with. I bought it the other day.
Yeah, they did. And he was on the cover originally, and they replaced him.
Stone Cold's not on the game.
Well, Cena wasn't on the cover either. And then when they took Brock off, they put Cena on. So I don't know what they're doing.
Stone Cold's not on the roster. He's not even...
he's not even in the game.
You know, 1,000 credits and you buy the older wrestlers. He's not there.
Oh, that's really odd.
Which very annoyed me, because I want his music. Because I changed all the jukebox stuff. Because all the music they give us to go with it is rubbish, and I just play theme tunes.
That's really interesting. Okay, let's move on. So, LA Knight, he charged down to the ring because he walked out of Nichols' office with what appeared to be a contract. It couldn't really have been anything else. And but again, Chelsea's like, you know, he's like, yeah, he'll see you in a minute. He just told you to wait outside. So they continue to wait. So he makes his way down to the ring, and he said, you know, Money in the Bank came and went. You know, he's not going to stand there and complain. He ain't going to cry about it. You know, it didn't go his way. He got dumped and somebody else got the contract. But what he did do is he referred back to the Money in the Bank qualifying match where he pinned Logan Paul. So, you know, he said to Nick Aldis, I've pinned the United States champion. This is where I'm at. This is
Geese title shot.
Yeah, exactly. And he got that contract signed. Aldis has signed the contract. LA Knight has signed the contract, and the only thing missing is Logan Paul's signature. So he is saying he is going to get that, and he's going to have his match with Logan Paul at SummerSlam.
There is going to be shenanigans next week.
You know what I wanted? I wish we had a little bit more time to SummerSlam, because I would have liked each week a sketch where LA Knight's trying to get him to sign the document without him realizing.
How long we got?
But maybe 2-3 weeks. I think it's 3rd of August. So we've got a couple of weeks. But, you know, I want him to be like the delivery guy. You know, here, sign here for the delivery. You know, or something. Oh, no, it's like a fan.
That's a great idea.
An autograph. Do you know what I mean? And
That's a great idea.
I want him like in costume or like hiding each week, because Logan Paul's going to be there next week. It's been announced SmackDown. He's going to be there to address this. But I don't want it just to be a straight conversation. I would love that kind of segments where he
could pull that off.
Signature.
LA could pull that off.
And they both could. Absolutely, they both.
They're both good.
Yeah, considering the sketch he had at his house and stuff like that previously, it's so good. And I'd love to see something like that. So yeah, Triple H, if you're listening, this is where you need to head.
Absolutely.
And what do we think about Logan Paul and LA Knight? It should be a really good match. And
it's going to be a great match.
The title has to go on him now, right?
Has to go on LA, and he has to go on a run.
Yes.
I know we say this about every face US champion. Mm-hmm. But I want him to do an open challenge like Cena used to do.
Yeah, agreed.
However, I know I say it. I don't think I mean it, because no one's good. Even though I wasn't watching when Cena did that, it's iconic what he did for that title.
Yes.
And I don't think anyone I mean, however great LA is and how much I love LA Knight, he's not John Cena.
No, he's not the one to pull out a win every week. Yeah, I know what you mean.
No, but so the question is when he wins it, there's no ifs or buts about it. He's going to win that title. Who's next?
I think it'll probably be Carmelo. I think he'll be Andrade. And
because they've had their beef, haven't they?
Yeah, they've had their beef as well. So I think that's probably where it'll be headed after SummerSlam.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. No, and you know what? I'm happy for that.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for Carmelo to lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
LA needs a run with that title.
He does. Absolutely.
Yeah. He needs a run. Doesn't have to be this. Doesn't have to be the length, but of dominance like Gunther had with the IC title, so that then he can lose that title and then go after the title once, because once we've done Solo Roman, once we've done Cody Rock, once we've put it on Cena, I think once it goes to Cena, if please WWE put it on Cena, once it goes to Cena, it can then go away from the whole bloodline thing, because the bloodline can have a rest, and Roman could do something different. Maybe Dean Ambrose comes back and we get the Shield again, which I don't think is outside the realms of possibility of Dean coming back, because but also Dean's issue was Vince.
It was, yeah.
Dean's issue was Vince. And there was I haven't heard him beef about Triple H, but I don't know. So for at that point, middle part of next year, towards the end of when Cena's going to start to finally hang up his boots, I have no issue LA Knight taking that title, having the title for 6 months, and then bringing a whole bunch of new people into that fray. And that, for me, will then start to pay off for people who need it again, like Kevin Owens.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, I love Randy. Randy doesn't need another title run. Randy's still got some time. I don't need a Randy Orton title run, especially because I feel like if Randy does a title run, I feel like he goes heel again.
Yeah, it'll be Orton KO. I think that would be really good, because obviously they've had this bromance, and them fighting for the title will be really entertaining.
So, this is the whole thing. This is where you've got so much going on at the moment. So you could actually have, because of their history, you could have KO taking it off of Cena.
Yeah, you could have KO. I mean, you could even have Randy taking it off Cena.
They had a big thing as well.
Legend to legend, and that Randy
Legend
could be
killer
his last match.
That's how you get rid of Cena. But that's how you get rid of Cena.
You do. Legend killer, and it brings back the Viper, Legend killer, and it turns him heel again, because he takes out Cena because he's desperate for that title. And then you can have KO come in and fight him for it, because he's like,
check us out writing WWE 2025.
Yeah,
Triple H, hit us up. We've got loads of ideas.
That's it.
I can't remember any of your backstage people's names, but I've got ideas.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, we can tell them what to do or say, but we just won't be able to call them and say, "Hey, read this line." Right. What else do we have? We had Naomi versus Blair Davenport, which is a really strange thing, because Blair Davenport, they had a promo for her, which was quite a nice promo, like vignette kind of thing, and then she has a match with Naomi, and she just squashes her, basically. Naomi gets the pinfall, and that was kind of it.
It wasn't a squash. It was a good match. It
was a fairly good match, but the crowd did not care again. They are not feeling Blair at all.
Neither of them got a pop. No. Naomi's music gets a pop because her entrance is
not
cool.
The wrestling, no.
It was, and the thing was, it was a good match. It was a good match.
Solid match. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know whether it's because she's English, but Blair Davenport reminds me of Paige.
She's from New Zealand. She's Kiwi.
Is she?
Yeah, apparently.
She sounds very English.
That's what I thought. And then when I looked it up because I was like, where is she from? Because she reminds me so much of Paige, but apparently she's from New Zealand. So
okay, fair enough. But yeah, the fans didn't care. I didn't really care.
We don't care.
I didn't really care. And it's a shame that I don't care, but that's just because there's nothing going on. And I feel like you've got to fill a show, and sometimes you've got to put a match. And listen, it's an exhibition match against a you can call. I think it's fair to call Naomi a legend. As far as she would be a Hall of Famer, without
she would at one point. Yeah,
without
absolutely.
a shadow of a doubt. So I think she's
Yeah.
so someone who's older in the roster with somebody who's
Mhm.
new, good pairing. It was good for her to lose. It felt like she was content losing clean and felt like it was she felt fine until they got backstage.
Yes, exactly that. And so she came to say, the best person won, and attacked her from behind. And that I then understood, because I was really surprised that Davenport lost. Because of the way they brought her up from NXT and stuff like that. But obviously they're like, going to reinforce that she's a heel character, and she went after Naomi and took her out. So that's a feud that will keep going. That also led to the backstage segment. We had Jake Cargill and Belair, and they were just there saying, "Hey, friend," and then they left because the GM wasn't there.
They've got nothing to do with those two at the moment, have they?
No, exactly. They don't.
Which is a shame, because Bianca is one of my favorite people on across both rosters. I think she is. As far as I'm concerned, pound for pound, I think she is top 3 wrestler in the company. Period. Man, men, women, whatever. I think she's amazing, and she's kind of been stranded with
Jade
Cargill. It's like at school, you've been left with the new kid, and you don't really like the new kid.
Show him around the place. Yeah, take him on a tour.
I don't want to hang out with my friends. I don't want to hang out with this new loser. And it's like, and she's like dragging her around because they haven't got anything for Jade.
No,
because she's not ready to be in a title picture.
No, she's not.
And I feel like Neil keeps saying they're going to turn Jade heel against Bianca, which story-wise is a great place to go. But they're not doing anything with it at the moment.
No, they had a match. Was it last week? They had a match and they were like, we're going after the tag championships again, but then nothing happened. So there's no continuing. That's one of the stories that is lacking.
It's a bit of a damp squib.
Yeah, it is. But then we had another cracker of a match. We had the rematch, DIY versus A-Town Down Under for the WWE Tag Team Championship. Another great match.
Brilliant. Absolutely
really
brilliant. I love the chemistry that DIY have.
Yes.
And the asshole that Grayson Waller is. I just love it. I love it. And I don't get that they're still obviously planning this stab in the back from Grayson to Austin, because however much I appreciate Austin is talented, nobody wants him face because he's a great dickhead heel. Yeah. I think making him a baby face is a hiding to nothing. I could be wrong, but I don't see that as a positive step. So I don't know what they're doing there. But as far as DIY defending the titles, and they won it last week, didn't they? So they defended it this week. Yeah. Just a great match. Just some awesome spots. Just brilliant wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. DIY hit the shattering machine, and then they connect with the meat in the middle to pick up the victory. So,
it's a great finish of that.
It's really good. Really
I like
nice.
that.
And something which I want to talk about, the tag matches, again, this week on SmackDown and again on Raw, we'll touch on it. I'm really liking the way that the tag teams are working well together now, and they're really doing combination moves. Feels like a real throwback to me of where we have proper tag teams, and they are building that division. Even you mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, we don't have many tag teams, and it just felt like people were just being put together and not really being developed. But you can see they're working on the craft together and really developing these double team moves and stuff like that, and we're seeing some really cool stuff in there.
The best team for that is Katana Chance and Kaden Carter.
Absolutely,
which I think is what you mean, because those two are a brilliant tag team. It's like you've got, I know this is Raw, but I know you've got Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler, who are two brilliant wrestlers who've been put together. There's no real, apart from their finisher, which is actually quite badass. There's no tag team chemistry there yet. I think that can really come, but we'll talk about. I've got a lot to say about those three when we get there. So,
all right,
let's finish SmackDown.
So then we had after the match, we obviously, like you said, we had Grayson Waller and Austin Theory having a bit of a shovey match, kind of upset with each other. And then Jacob Fatu, Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh God, oh my God,
he destroyed everyone.
Monster.
He blasted Theory like with a running headbutt, and then he Samoan dropped Gargano. There's a DDT. Ciampa tried to do a DDT on him, and he kind of shook it off a little bit like Randy Orton did at the pay-per-view. He super kicks Ciampa, running hip attacked, and then he did another pop-up Samoan drop, and he did a moonsault.
He did the flip thing off the. He put his legs on the rope and bounced off and did a back.
Yeah, like a modified Arabian moonsault. Yeah,
how? I'm pretty certain he did a whisper in the wind as well.
Yeah, he's just phenomenal, and he's the MVP of that bloodline. Oh, absolutely he is. I know Solo's doing some great work, but compared to the other two that were in this bloodline, he's just on another level.
Funny enough, you talk about MVP of the bloodline. I've seen, which is the one that wasn't in the pay-per-view match, Tangaloa.
Yeah.
I have seen a video. I think it might be sent in our group of some of his botches. I'm like,
I think I sent it.
Oh, he's not very good.
No, he's definitely resting on that name.
I mean, listen. I hope it's because it's easy to put some botches together and he's decent and whatever. But it screams of a reason why he wasn't. Because it makes sense to me that Tangaloa and Tamatonga are together. Yeah, that makes more sense, which is why I thought it was strange that it was Tamatonga and Jacob and Solo rather than. So maybe you said it or Neil said it the other week, which was he's not ready yet.
No, I think he'll come in time, and he'll be that kind of bit of an enforcer around the ring. But his time will come where hopefully he'll have a little bit, because he takes a bump very well, to be sure.
See, I don't say everybody's brilliant.
No, exactly. We're not 100%.
We do bitch occasionally. I know we're super positive, but we do bitch occasionally.
Yeah, well, we were supposed to bitch. We're called bitching about wrestling. We need to bitch
occasionally bitching about wrestling.
Yeah, too nice about wrestling.
It's bitch about something that's so bloody good at the moment.
That's it. Yeah, we're bitching about how we have nothing to bitch about. Yeah. The Bloodline, Cody Rhodes, the Randy Orton segment that closed out the show. So the Bloodline came out after Jacob Fatu did his damage. Solo, Mr. Mass, acknowledge me. And he said, his brother Jimmy didn't acknowledge him. He's out. Paul Heyman didn't acknowledge him. He's out. And, Roman Reigns, he ain't about anymore. It is about him. Cody Rhodes comes to the ring and he says he's got to speak to Nick Aldis, but he might as well consider it official. SummerSlam, WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa. Now, nothing's been spoken about the match stipulation type or anything yet, so we've got a couple of weeks to build up on that. I don't know if they're going to be like doing no DQs, or the Bloodline's going to be present, not present, whether he's going to have Randy and KO in his corner. Who knows what's going to happen. But like we said, it really has to be Cody going over in that match. But, then the Bloodline circle around Cody. You go on.
You said Cody going over.
Sorry, Solo. Okay. Solo has to go over. Yeah. Solo 100% has to go over. Not Cody at all. No, Cody's been over enough. 100 days as champion now, him and Bailey, because of since WrestleMania. It's time. He can let it go now. Because it's like, yes, he's won it once, but now he could be 2-3-time WWE champion. He can start building the numbers now, right?
I've just realized something. Mm-hmm. You talk about 100 days since Mania. So we think Sammy's going to lose his title at SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. We think Cody's going to lose his title at SummerSlam.
Bailey.
We think you can't have
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul. Did Logan win it? No, Logan didn't.
He retained
win
it.
He retained it. But what I'm saying is you can't. Part of me thinks you can't have the three people that won their title Mania.
Change.
So I think you can make Sammy retain.
Yeah,
I think you do because you do a triple threat match between Ilya Dragunov and Braun.
Yeah.
And Sammy can still win that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're going to put Cody. They're going to put Cody over, aren't they?
I have a feeling they will. I think what will happen is a result of a DQ. So
I don't want them to.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to end up happening. So that way he keeps it going into Survivor Series or whatever. But
I will bitch about that. If Cody keeps his title, I will bitch about that.
We will.
I will go on a rant.
So Cody was surrounded by the bloodline. They started attacking him. He goes to the crossroads on Solo, but Fatu interferes. Randy comes out to try and support him, but it was just too much. They got beaten down. Cody got trapped in the ropes and was made to watch as they just kept super kicking Orton multiple times, and then they put him through the announcer's table. And
Cody kept saying, take me
instead. You leave me alone. Yeah. The martyr. And then Samoa Spike takes Cody out, and the bloodline are left standing tall at the end of the show. So again, another good episode. And it's delivering.
I haven't seen a bad episode of SmackDown or Raw. Actually, I think the last bad episode of Raw was, fun enough, the Raw after Mania.
Yeah, that's true.
It was a bit meh.
It was a really weak episode, yeah.
Was a bit meh. But since then, they've just hit it.
Just been rolling. Absolutely. They have been cooking. Right, let's talk about Raw. We'll try and get through this fairly quickly.
Because I realised we've been going an hour.
Yeah, we've spoken about all the bloodline stuff. Let's talk about Damian Priest and Gunther. So Gunther had a really nice vignette as well, talking about how he's going to bring prestige and everything back to the World Heavyweight Championship. And that's pretty much what he said to Damian Priest. I thought it was a really good face-off between the two. Priest called Gunther out, but, Gunther said, you're not living up to it. Your reign's been nothing, no prestige, no contributions. But it's okay. We're not cut from the same cloth. So look, let me just take the weight off your shoulders. Just give me the title.
It was brutal.
It was
really
it was just
brutal.
like, you've just not delivered.
Brilliant promo.
It was really, really good. He is so good on the mic, Gunther. He doesn't get enough credit for his mic work. Yeah. But Priest, he came back. He said, you handed everything to you. Everything was handed to you in Europe. He was fighting for his life, literally on the streets, and for like 20 years to be here. And you're not taking this title from me. And Gunther, Jesus Christ, I recognize your hardship, but it's like, I'm not going to question your street credibility, but let's be honest, being on the streets is a choice. Come on.
Basically, your parents
so
didn't
good.
love you.
Yeah.
My parents loved me, so they gave
me everything. Your parents did nothing for you. And that was so brutal.
But I love that, because that's someone from privilege.
Good heel work.
Someone from privilege against someone who is someone from nothing is brilliant. But obviously, it's also brilliant when that means that, in this case, Damien is the face wins, but Damien isn't going to win. It's another title.
Can't see another title change. Oh my gosh, all the titles. But
what are they going to change all these titles? But they've
I have no idea.
They've booked themselves into a corner.
Almost have.
Where we talk about how great the storytelling is, but they have booked themselves into a corner.
I think
has there ever been a pay-per-view where every title has changed hands?
Yeah, I don't. Sound off in the comments. When was the last time all the titles changed hands in a pay-per-view? I think there's been some close ones, but there normally is always one. I wouldn't be surprised again if Gunther wins but doesn't get the belt. I'm wondering whether there'll be a Judgment Day interference, and then this will further that Damien being frustrated with Finn because they come in to help. And so he doesn't win again. So it's like another time that he hasn't proved himself to a challenger.
Oh God, Finn Balor. I forgot about Finn Balor, because he's he's another sleeper who you can park him for a bit, and then all of a sudden, because this whole thing is he deserves his title run.
Yes,
there is no one that deserves a title run almost than Finn Balor, because he won it and then never got to actually run with it, and then never had another shot.
Yeah, totally agree with that. Absolutely, 100%. And what I loved about Gunther as well, like the proper heel he played into the crowd. It's like, these people, they should be loving you to death, because just like you'll always be street trash. It's just like, yes, this is some proper heel work. Love this.
It was brilliant. Loved it.
And Damian Priest, he's like, he, like you said, he's a proper face now. And he's like, you're going to lose to me at SummerSlam because you don't have any heart. He is the good guy in all this. So
because he harked back to why he lost to Sammy.
That's it.
Because he lost to Sammy because Sammy's got the heart.
Yes.
And he doesn't. He's a good wrestler, but he doesn't know how to play the game.
Because he said this wasn't his dream, was it? It's just like he happened to be here and he's made it happen. He's like, if you don't want to be here, then don't be here. So right, what else happened on Raw? So we had Sheamus come out to a really shitty new entrance song. Why the fuck are they messing around with that?
Yeah, I didn't understand what it was. I didn't even know until I saw his face in sort of part of the screen. I was like, oh, it's a Sheamus.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. He's actually put a tweet out this afternoon saying, like, what do you think of the new song, Banger or No Banger? And it was like 86% No Banger. It's like,
Oh no!
Yeah, so I'm wondering whether they'll change it back next week. It's like, yeah, they tried and no good.
Banger or burger?
Yeah, Banger or burger. And you know what? Sheamus is looking good again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's only taken a few weeks, but he's looking really bang in shape again.
I wish I could
like
lose
a
fat.
motherfucker, though.
I wish I could lose fat that quickly.
Yeah,
I'm trying so hard.
Well, I lose it from one pace and then it just comes back in another. So,
But yeah, at one point during the match, he gave Pat a massive hug. It's like,
yeah,
some big sweaty Irishman.
That's it. And Braun, this was a sweaty match. I think even someone said WWE meat or something like that in like MEAT on one of the signs, because this was a meaty match. But yeah, we had Sheamus versus Bronson Reed, 1-on-1. And, fairly decent match. There was some, big power moves here. And, Sheamus was really strong in this as well. And Bronson Reed wasn't a pushover. But Sheamus come out with a win. He connected with the pump knee strike, to pick up the victory. And, he came out with the win. And when he finished and he's battering his chest, like when he's won, the sweat, it's just coming right up his chest. It's just, oh.
The thing that always distracts me about Bronson Reed is why do big men end up in fucking singlets?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't get it. It's so unflattering.
It's really,
and it makes them look worse.
Yeah, I suppose he's leaning into the big portion of it, but yeah,
you could still look big.
Different.
I mean, it's like, okay, I know he's muscly, but Braun Strowman does it really well. He wears a bit of paracombat shorts and a vest, and that looks good from a big guy. Even Big Show wore a singlet for most of his career, didn't
he did. Yeah.
What about Mark Henry?
I think he had almost like the top shorts, didn't he? So they weren't like, it wasn't like the V-neck, V in the crotch. Then he had like the small shorts with the...
Yes. Yeah. A bit like Braun Breakers.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I just don't get it. I understand you can put a slim, muscular person in a singlet because, like Chad Gable, for example, I would wear nothing but Speedos in a singlet if I looked like that.
For real.
But I look more like Bronson Reed, and I wouldn't wear that.
Yeah, it's a bizarre choice. Totally agree. But after the match, we had Pete Dunne. He came in, which we looked like he thought he was saving Sheamus, which he did because he took out Bronson Reed. But that was just revenge. And, Sheamus goes to shake his hand. Still not interested. Walked away.
The thing was when he saved Sheamus and then refused the handshake.
Yeah.
And then ran out the ring. When he was running back in the ring, I thought he was going to give him a hug.
Yeah.
I didn't. I thought he was going to be like, I forgive you and give him a hug, but that didn't happen.
No.
But yeah, so that's going to be an interesting feud.
Yeah.
Because Pete Dunne's awesome.
Yes.
I've seen, funny enough, one of the few people I saw a lot of in the bits of NXT that I have watched when he was doing it, and he was NXT UK as well, wasn't he?
Right,
he was top guy at NXT UK, and he was always incredibly talented.
Who knows what's going to happen with him and Sheamus? But it might turn into a triple threat thing. I think maybe with those three. But I think they're taking Sheamus out of that Intercontinental title picture at the moment. But I'd expect him to go back in a little while. We had a really fun backstage segment. This really made me laugh. Zelina Vega was being interviewed about the Women's World Championship, and she's like, yeah, I'll wait until Liv and Rhea's done their thing, and then I'll be on the case. And Sonya Deville comes out with Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, and starts to interfere with her. And Zelina says she couldn't hear past Sonya's forehead. She's very quick and good on the mic, really, really good. And
always has been. Always has been great on the mic.
Yeah, and it's really nice to see her getting this little push now. And
apart from she got buried.
Well, yeah, and now she's injured because she challenged Sonya to a match, which was Sonya Deville's first match back from her injury. And it was fairly quick. Vega was on top for a lot of the match. She did a 619, but then Baszler attacked Vega while the referee's back was turned.
Smashed her arm.
Smashed her arm like she was going to try and break it.
I can't watch that. I cannot watch. Shayna Baszler creeps me out.
Really?
The way she did it. She's done it to I mean, she does it to all the women I like. So she's done it. She's done it to Liv. She's done it to Alexa. She's done it to Selena Vega, and she just bends their arms in. I can't watch it, honestly.
Yeah, and then she slammed it down on the ring apron as well. So that was nice. But yeah, Deville, she connected with the Deville's Advocate, and she won by pinfall. And it was after the match, Deville and the company, they ganged up on Vega, and then Lyra Valkyria, Katana Chance, and Caden Carter, they came down to kind of protect her, which then resulted in a match later on between Katana Chance and Caden Carter versus
Shayna
Baszler and Zoe Stark. Yeah, and as we mentioned, really good match.
Amazing match. The only thing is very quickly they need to give that trio a name, a theme, and a music.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They can't just keep coming out to individuals things, because they need to match up their ring gear, make them a proper faction.
Agreed.
Because it's a really great faction that can really go far. You have a really great faction with 3 really great performers, 3 people who are great on the mic, 3 people who are a legitimate threat. So make them a proper team. Yeah. It's funny, I was thinking about names for them, and I was thinking along the lines of, because obviously Shayna is the Queen of Spades, so something along those lines, playing on the name on the spade thing, because I think that could work really, really well, because that would be a new Damage Control, but more threatening.
Yeah, maybe they could play on the MMA factor, and try and come up with another acronym, whatever MMA stands for. They could be something else, but yeah, maybe that might work. But yeah, definitely they need to be a faction. They need to have a name, and that could run really, really well. Like you said, Damage Control. What that did for that faction, they need to do the same for them.
Absolutely.
Then we had the backstage segment. Chad Gable, tells Adam Pearce that he's cracked the case. He's figured out who Uncle Howdy is, and he's like, "It's Bo Dallas." And
I was disappointed. I was disappointed that he's Bo Dallas. I'm disappointed it was Bo Dallas and it's not Taylor Wyndham. I just think it was really funny. It's like, no shit, Sherlock.
Yeah. Yeah. And he mentioned that, they had a meeting last week and he wanted to know what they discussed. And I was like, no, they're not telling you that. So Chad's like, I'm going to go out to the ring and I'm going to call him out. And I was like, fair enough. Brave man. Stupid man, but brave man. So he's
I did not see it going the way it went.
No, absolutely. We'll come on to that now. Actually, let's do that. So the Chad Gable comes out. He calls out Bo Dallas. I want to talk to you. What's been happening? You've been, haunting me for the last few weeks. And Bo Dallas just walks out.
No music, nothing. Perfect.
Just him.
I was just like,
really
that
great.
was brilliant. Love it.
Yeah. And then he gets attacked by the Creed brothers, who for a long time we've been waiting to team up with Angle. To be like the new proper Alpha Academy. And I think they'll be a great pairing, the 3 of those. They did the beatdown on Bo Dallas, attacked him and really quite brutal with him. They throw him against the barricades and, kicking the crap out of him. But then Bo just kept laughing in the corner. And it's a real throwback to The Fiend when this happened with him. I can't remember who beat down on him at that time, but he was very much the case of that, just sitting in the corner laughing. And the lights go out and the White Six make their way down to the ring. Gable and the Creeds, they retreat.
That shit was fucking cinema.
That was fantastic, right?
Just so good. So good. Especially because actually, before all this, we'd had the video.
Oh, yes, of course.
Before this, we had the video.
What a video
Rowan.
this was.
Well
Eric
done.
Rowan.
Round of applause.
Yeah. It was, and it got to me because, he was talking about how he lost a brother and then he lost a second brother and what it did to him. And it's just like, yeah, man, he made me.
And for those that don't know, that's talking about Brody Lee and then obviously talking about Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
And I mean, whether it was acting or real emotion, I don't think I could tell the difference. That was brilliantly put together. And I now feel like we'll get one of these for each character, which I am now salivating at the prospect for. Yes, oh yeah, absolutely. And the videotape was given during the Pat McAfee show.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and he brought it to the show, and he said to Cole, "You can deal with these from now on." He's like, "I don't want to touch these."
Really interested in how they work, what they're going to do with Pat.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole thing is they've got at least 3 targets lined up, which is obviously Chad Gable, Pat, and Jey Uso.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's at least 3 people. And the thing I like about those 3 people, there's no title involved.
Yes. And this is what we need more of. Not everything's about the title.
No title involved. And it was always my biggest criticism of The Fiend was he went after the title far too quickly. And he should have just rammed through the roster.
Yeah.
And they're doing this so slow. And I love they're doing it slowly. You know, there's a lot of impatient fans out there who just want the impact. But the thing is, once you get the impact, that's over. So just build and build and build, and we'll get there. Yeah. And I can't wait.
No,
I can't wait. I don't know what they're going to do.
You don't want to rush this. Do not want to rush this.
I have no prediction of how this is going to pan out or what they're going to do. I couldn't have called what happened today,
this week,
yesterday, on Monday. I couldn't have called that. So give me more. I want more. Feed me more. By the way, talking about that bell end Ryback. I saw a TikTok of him today. I didn't share it with the group. I should have shared it. Where he was doing top 10 WWE stars. You know the thing you get on TikTok where the thing
like
flashes above their head,
where they're random and they rank them.
Yeah, a blind ranking. He put like Undertaker at 8. I'm like, you bitter twat.
He's such a
he goes,
cunt.
he's like, I won't have me in the list, but I will be back. He thinks he's coming back to WWE. He thinks anyone wants him in that business.
Take him. I don't think anyone would take him. Right?
I don't think AEW would take him.
No,
because the problem is he hurt too many people. And
he did.
Bell end, Ryback. I know you're watching because you watch everything that's WWE related. Because you are a simp for WWE. Nobody wants you. Fuck off. There we go. We bitched about something.
There we go. Bitch about Ryback. Storyline that again is not involving a title at the moment. Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. So we had Drew McIntyre and Adam Pearce in the ring because obviously Drew was suspended because of his actions after Money in the Bank, and Adam Pearce is like, we know that I want the match. We know CM Punk wants the match. The crowd wants the match. Do you want the match? And of course, Drew is like, absolutely, I want this more than anything in the world. And Adam's like, great. If we can be professional and do business properly, no problem. We'll do the match, but you have to do one thing for me. Drew's like, anything. He's like, you need to apologize to these referees because the way you manhandled them, and dragged it out for a little while, but Drew couldn't keep it together. He said, no. Why would I apologize to you two after everything the referees have done? You screw me around here. You screw me at WrestleMania. You screw me in Scotland in front of my own people. Screw me at Money in the Bank. And he's like, you got CM Punk sitting there cross-legged on the table like an idiot. You're not doing anything about him. Absolutely kicked off. And Adam Pearce was like, okay, you're still suspended. Move on. And so McIntyre starts shoving the referees again and yelling at Pearce, and it looks like him and Pearce again looked like they were about to come to blows, but Seth comes in and takes the distraction away, and McIntyre ends up retreating, very pissed off. Interesting how they just stomped off like a child. Absolutely. And did you see Drew on the Pat McAfee show? Where he was interviewing and he started laying into Michael Cole, saying you need to speak to Cole because he keeps
Oh, yes, I did see that clip.
Yeah, and McAfee's like, text him, and Michael Cole's just tell him to fuck off. It's just like, okay, yeah, I support him. That was a really funny segment. If you haven't watched that,
the whole thing is, I still sit here as a case of, I still think that Drew's a bit like Dom. He's like, I'm speaking the truth. All I'm trying to do is my job, and my job is to win the title. That's all I want to do, and everyone's fucking with me. Just leave me alone to get on with my job.
Absolutely, 100%. He's right.
He's absolutely right. But this fucking fans still chant for CM Punk. I definitely don't chant back DM Hunk.
Yeah,
I definitely don't chant that back while I'm sat on my own watching wrestling.
Sure. When I think they're holding out at the moment because they're not too sure if Punk is 100% fit. So
Old
I
man,
think they're
broken
going to,
bones.
yeah. So I think they're going to drag this out for a couple more weeks just to see if Punk
Punk's
can
ready.
be match fit, and then they'll pull the trigger. If not, he'll roll over, and it'd be a shame for Punk. Sorry, not Punk, but for Drew to miss SummerSlam if he's not. But maybe that's why Seth is there. So
Have
then
Seth and
Drew,
which
yeah.
again would be a fire match.
Yeah, exactly. But if that doesn't work out, Seth can pick up a match with anyone, and it wouldn't be a problem. So, so yeah. And what else?
Do Drew versus Adam Pearce?
Oh,
because Adam Pearce was a wrestler, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Both him and Nick were wrestlers. So
Nick much more successful.
Yes. Yeah.
Nick much more. To be fair, Nick looks like he could still go.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
I wouldn't fuck with Nick Aldis. Not in the slightest.
No, exactly.
Which is great for a GM, because mostly GMs are sniveling, whatever.
Yeah.
But the amount of times Nick Aldis basically squared up to Roman Reigns, and I'm like, yes, go on, Nick.
Yeah, and it's interesting that Wade Barrett keeps coming to the rescue of Drew. I know they're friends, but it's like, is that going to play into something at some point?
How old is Wade Barrett?
Is he going to come out of retirement? I don't know if he's going to end up helping Drew, like be an enforcer against like shenanigans or something. But it's interesting.
Wade Barrett, how old is Wade Barrett? Wade Barrett's only 43.
Okay. There's probably one more match.
Was he injured?
I don't know his reason for retiring, whether it's age or injury, but we've seen people come back from some really horrific injuries, so you never know.
Well, my mum's about to have the same surgery that lots of wrestlers had. She's having a back fused. I mean, she's 73. I don't think she's going to come back and be a wrestler, but she's up to go and have that operation.
Well, we wish her a John Cena recovery. That's for sure.
she'll be back for rest. She'll be back for the Royal Rumble. She'll come in at number 30.
Well, we wish her all the best. Absolutely. Then our last match of the night, we had Sami Zayn versus Ilya Dragunov. Again, really good match, very solid. And Dragunov he must be the most animated of wrestlers in the ring, because the way
always think he's hurt.
Yeah, he screams in pain. He staggers on his feet. When he climbs to the top ropes, it looks like so much effort. He really is dramatic.
He's the boy that cried wolf.
Yeah, yeah, he is. But really, like I say, really good match. Sami Zayn, he hits him with the haluva kick at the edge of the apron and knocks him off. Sami jumps out of the ring to try and pick him up, and Bron Breakker, who we thought had earlier been escorted from the building, clearly not, runs around the ring again and takes out Dragunov. just almost goes through him and forces
his legs.
Disqualification. Yeah.
I think he tripped because he hit his legs.
I don't. Yeah, it
wasn't
didn't look as clean as it should have been. But in one way, again, Dragunov just sold it because he was
still
up in
looked
the air.
brutal.
Yeah, but yeah, Dragunov won via disqualification, so Sami Zayn is still Intercontinental Champion.
That was always going to happen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's going to be no title change here. But then obviously Bron Breakker and Sami Zayn have a bit of a fisticuffs. He ends up slamming Bron's head into the table. But then they get back into the ring. Breakker hits the Northern Lights toss and hits Sami Zayn with a spear and is standing tall over Sami Zayn as the show goes off the air. And that was Monday Night Raw. So
was a good Raw. Was another good show.
It was another good show. And again, there's just so much content, as much as they do little recaps after their commercial breaks, because obviously
little recaps.
Well,
oh my God, the show would be 2 hours long if it wasn't for the fucking recap. Honestly,
they recap every segment.
It 3 minutes ago.
Yeah. Yeah,
you showed me this. You went to an ad break, and now you're showing it to me
again. I think Punk's also mentioned that, like on the show, just like talking about the recaps and stuff like that. But yeah, there's a lot of like, it's like previously on Raw. No, this was 4 minutes ago. It's fine. But it's for those people who might have just missed it. Yeah.
Yes, I do remember. I do. I'm not a fish. I know I'm getting old and my memory is getting worse. It's not that bad.
Not that bad, yeah. You could maybe later in the show show me a segment from earlier in the show. That's absolutely fine, but like not just after.
I mean, to be fair, when I'm watching PLE's delayed, and it brings up and it brings up the whole the vignette before the match, I skip most of it.
Oh, really?
I can't. I've been there.
Yeah, especially when
watching the story unfold every single week. If I was just watching pay-per-views, it's fine. But that's the whole thing.
I suppose it is more for the casual fans out there, isn't it?
That's the only problem with
the airtime.
That's the only problem when it's at sociable UK hours, and I actually do get to watch it live. I'm like, I can't fast forward. I want to fast forward, and I can't.
Yeah, absolutely. So next week on Raw, CM Punk will be on the show. Lyra Valkyria is going to go one-on-one with Sonya Deville. And then we're going to have Xavier Woods and the Alpha Academy because they are supporting him whilst whilst Kofi Kingston is out injured. And they're going to fight the Final Testament in a 6-man tag match. So
that'll be fun.
Raw next week. Yeah. So another solid week on WWE.
It's just, it's, you expect there to be stuff to properly bitch about, but there isn't.
No,
it's just really good. I'm really enjoying it. And as our hero says, give it an up.
Yeah,
finger of power. Give it an up. We love you, Simon.
Yes. No, I do love Simon. He is awesome. Right, Alex, thank you for joining me today. Is there anything else you wanted to shout about before we go?
I'm working on a new video series because I've realized waiting multiple months for me to do a go-kart race isn't putting enough content out on my YouTube channel. So I am trying to grow my YouTube channel. So I'm doing an iRacing series because I don't know if you know anything about iRacing, but in iRacing you have a license, and my license always used to be an A license, and because I've been neglectful and I've been just entering races and having crashes, I'm now a C license. I need to get my license back up to A. So I'm making a series of me trying to get my license back up. So that'll be up. Hopefully my first video will be up at some point at the end of this week, maybe, or next week. And then there'll be hopefully one every week is my aim until I get myself back to A license. So yeah, follow me on YouTube, Alex Van Gene Racing, or follow me on TikTok or on X, and just come and say hi.
All right, awesome. If you didn't know, this is the one of two podcasts that I host. The second is Creative Control, the entertainment podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, and we talk about everything movies and TV. So on our previous episodes, we've been doing top 10s of each year from 1980 up to 1989 we are now. They've been going down a tree, and on our episode, which just dropped today, we've cast the Street Fighter movie, which is going to be releasing in 2026.
Your top 10 lists for movie years is actually one of my favorite podcasts. I'm not on it. I'm not on it. And even though you've said to me I can come on it, I don't know enough about movies. I did write a list, but I absolutely love it. I sit there and I shout at you guys because what was it in '89 that I couldn't believe you didn't put on the list? You didn't put Dead Poet Society on the list. It was in honorable mentions, and there was something else that I didn't know there was in '89, and then you guys mentioned it in your honorable mentions, and I got very angry at you. So if you want to spend an hour shouting at people because they haven't picked the movie you like, go and download that podcast because it's so much fun, and I really, really enjoy it. It is literally the chat you'd have down the pub with your mates about movies. I mentioned it to Spanners, who hosts the F1 podcast we do. He goes, I'd come and play that because he loves me. He's a big movie fan.
Anybody's welcome. Alex and I met on social media because we wanted to talk about wrestling. This is how friendships bloom. So anybody who's out there want to talk film, send me a message, whether it's on Facebook or TikTok, whatever it is. Drop us a message if you want to be on the show, this one or Creative Control movie one. Absolutely, we'd love to have you on. And our next episode, we're going to do a roundup of the 80s. So what we're going to do is the best films between 1980 and 1989. But what we're going to do is we're only going to be able to pick one movie from each year.
Ouch.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of debate there.
You mean a lot of arguing?
Yeah, I'm already having people yelling at me in the chat. So, yeah, there's going to be some arguments on that one. So, yeah, Creative Control, the entertainment podcast. You can find us, as well as Bitching About Wrestling, on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Please hit that like and subscribe on YouTube. We really appreciate it. I'd love to be able to turn this into a full-time career. That would be awesome. Yeah.
Start a Patreon, mate.
Yeah. Then I have to find time to do exclusive content. Jeez. Right. That's it from us. Thank you very much for joining. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace out.
Peace.